What's going on, beautiful people of YouTube? It's Renebean. Welcome to another episode of Live Video Game Hunting. This series I started up to show you all the finds, whether it's yard sales, flea markets, thrift stores, apps on my phone. It doesn't matter. You get to see it. I'm going to go ahead and announce the winner to the last episode giveaway. That winner is Matrix 3015. Congratulations, you got yourself $20 store credit to my eBay store, where not only can you find video games, you can find just about anything. Just make sure you hit me up on Instagram if you want to claim that prize. For all you others out there, if you want to be entered into the next episode drawing, just be subscribed to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, because not only does it help me out tremendously, but it shows YouTube that people actually like to watch these videos. Leave a comment down below, hopefully something positive. Links to everything to all my stores is in the description down below. But guys, you already know that I am so excited to bring you this episode. I've had some amazing luck this past week. Sit back and relax. Let's shekel up. Alright everybody, welcome back to another episode. I hope everybody has had amazing luck out there hunting. As always, let me know what you guys have found in the comments, whether it's good or bad. I like to hear what you guys find out there in the wild, what's still being discovered, because there's people in this world that think game hunting is dead, that you can't find nothing, that the yard sales are dried up, their flea markets are done for. These people are out of their minds. Things are being discovered almost every day, and that's why I love hearing what you guys still get out there. So here we are with the first pickup right here, and I gotta tell you guys, this one is a beautiful one at that. This guy posted on Facebook that he was having a yard sale on Saturday, so I messaged him on Friday. I said, hey man, happen to have any video games? Gave him the list, the whole rundown, because I saw that he had vinyl records, VHSs, cassettes, that sort of thing. And this may sound a little crazy to some of you out there, but anytime that I see a yard sale listing that specifically mentions cassettes, VHSs, vinyl records, that sort of thing, I get extremely excited, because that's when I have the best luck at yard sales, is because people are cleaning out their closets of that era, and that's when you have the potential to find awesome scores like this. So he tells me the titles of the games and how much he wants for them, and I was like, man, I will be there in 10 minutes. And look at this, guys. We got Final Fantasy 3, we got Super Bomberman 2, and we got the Lost Viking. And you know what the beauty of it is, guys? It was only $20 for I don't even know how to justify this. To the person that decided not to come pick these games up. For whoever you are out there, if you are watching this, I'm sorry about your luck. I told this guy I'd be there in 10 minutes. I came right out. The guy that was supposed to pick these up ghosted this guy, never called him back, never showed up. I don't know why. This was an amazing steal right here, and I couldn't be more grateful. I shook this guy's hand, and of course, as I'm walking off, I'm like, man, is there anything else you can think of? Game Boys. I'm naming every little thing that I can think of, even getting obscure TurboGrafx, VIC-20, Commodore, just anything that I can name. And he's like, I ain't got nothing else, and he sent me on his way. But I was extremely grateful. That guy was very awesome for selling those to me. So here we are with another Facebook pickup, and this is obviously a great one right here. But what makes this great is the fact that it really shows how people are so lazy to not want to get up and go get something. This posting was for 5 Super Nintendo games for $25. It was an amazing deal when you see the games that I pick up. And then I looked at the name, and the person happened to be an old friend that I haven't talked to in many years, so it was really cool to talk to him again. And I messaged him, I said, hey man, still got these games? He said, absolutely, come on down, pick them up. Of course, I was like, man, I'll be there in 10, 15 minutes. And he was telling me how a lot of people were interested, people saying they were on their way, no one showed up. And I was like, man, I'm on my way to pick these up. And you're going to see, we got some beautiful titles here. So some of the highlights in this stack right here, they were all good games minus one sports game. But I bundled it in there for 2 reasons. It made everything cheaper. Plus, it was one that I didn't have for my collection. But we had The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, Street Fighter 2, Gradius 3, and the 7th Saga. All amazing titles. I just don't understand some people sometimes, though, because he was telling me how all these people were interested. No one showed up. Everybody kept flaking out on him. I looked at this posting, and I was late to the show, and I happened to message him. He says, everybody keeps saying they're coming, but they never do. I was like, man, I am on my way, and I picked them up. If you see that there's a great deal online, don't hesitate. Obviously, someone else is going to come and scoop them up, and that was the case on this one right here. And of course, as I'm heading out, I'm telling him, I was like, hey man, if you happen to come across anything else, I gave him a list of all the things that I look for. And he was like, there might be something, an item or two back at the house. If I find them, I'll let you know. So sure enough, he messages me back the next day and he says, hey, I found a whole bunch other items. Are you interested in these? He sent me some pictures and then he said you can have it all for $20. I was like, hey, I'll be down there in 10 minutes. And as you're going to see, we got some cool pickups right here. We got Chrono Cross and I was so excited to pick this up because as a lot of you know out there, I finally had my first playthrough of Chrono Trigger. A beautiful game, and this one right here being the sequel, I am so excited to play this. And I didn't have this copy, so for $20 for all these items you see here, an original Game Boy that worked. It was missing the back cover and a screen, but I'll do the backlight mod on this, and I'm telling you, $20, you couldn't ask for a better pickup. It had a copy of Super Mario Land in there, and he also had a PlayStation 1 Game Shark attachment too. So this was, I'm telling you, this was a great deal for 20 bucks. I wouldn't have gotten it had I not asked him. And also, if I didn't show up to the original post and been like everybody else and just flaked on this guy, guys, you got to be persistent. You gotta have the gumption to go out and get these items. Otherwise, someone else is going to do it. So here we are at a yard sale, and this is a very interesting one right here. You encounter this situation sometimes. It's always a very awesome situation when you encounter it. It doesn't happen often, but when you do, you're just like, you get a smile on your face because some people are just crazy like this. And I come across this Guitar Hero wireless guitar in the box. It was in very nice condition. I wanted this thing for display. And in my mind, I'm debating on the price that I would be willing to pay for this, you know, $3, $5, something like that. And I look at the lady and I said, hey, how much do you want for this item right here? And guys, I kid you not, she looks me dead in the eye like she's about to pull out a six-shooter and blast me one good time. And she says, you can have it for free. Apparently, she was giving a lot of things away at this yard sale because as I stood there, someone else would ask her how much for this item. She says, you can just have it. She just wanted to clear space. She wanted to get all this stuff out of there. I don't think she was really doing this to make any money. I didn't argue that aspect. I picked it up, grabbed the manual, boxed it back up, and I went on my merry way. And of course, I was extremely grateful and thankful. I asked her, I said, are you absolutely sure you don't want any money for this? She said, nope, just get it off my lawn, and that's exactly what I did. So this is one of those yard sales right here that I hate rewatching whenever I do my narrations because there was a lot of missed opportunity. There was a lot of other things that I could have bought. Now, you guys only really see video game related items, but you know, me owning my resale business, I pick up a lot of things, and I picked up a handful of items from this guy, but there are a lot of things that I missed that I should have went back for. But anyways, as I get to this yard sale, there was nothing really out that struck my eye as far as video games are concerned. There was a little box that had like 2 or 3 PlayStation 1 sports games in there, maybe a copy of Bug's Life, I can't remember. It wasn't nothing special. And I had the feeling that this place was already picked through, but it wasn't going to stop me. I said, hey man, do you happen to have anything else? And of course, I give him the entire list. Now, a little backstory on this guy, why he has this variety of stuff that you see, is he buys storage units. Actually, let me correct that. He doesn't buy them. He has a contract where all he has to do is go and clean out the ones the people didn't pay that you would typically buy. They just give him the stuff. I don't know what place it is. He's just kind of got that market down for that particular storage center. And, you know, kudos to him. Congratulations, because that's an amazing deal if all you got to do is go clean out a unit and you get to keep whatever's inside the unit. And I believe he said they pay him on top of that. So hopefully, you know, the people who are running that storage center don't catch on and realize that, you know, he should really be paying them for the units, because that's an amazing deal. I haven't really heard of a deal like that before. But anyways, you know, giving him the whole list, you know, he says, I don't know, there's stuff everywhere. And the second that I mentioned Wii, he's like, you know what, I do got one of those. He went inside and came out with the bundle that you saw. I had 3 mediocre games. It had all the controllers, the attachments. It was the GameCube compatible. But he only wanted $15 for it. That's a beautiful pickup right there. I was real quick to pick it up. And that's definitely a buy that I would recommend to a lot of people. I don't pick up a lot of Wiis, but whenever they're under $20 and they have, you know, just about everything that you need with them, maybe a game or two, it's a no-brainer to pick them up. And as we move closer and closer to the holiday season, the sales on the Wii should start to increase. They're just a slow-moving unit. I've got a few listed on Amazon, Mercari. I don't think I have any listed on eBay, but they just like to sit on the shelves. They don't move that well. You know, you really got a cutthroat pricing on there, you know, 50, 60 bucks, depending on what you got with it. And they still can sit. That's why I don't like to pay much for these. Depending on how you bundle it, where you list it, it all makes a difference. But I will say one thing that will make the biggest difference is the closer we get to Christmas, the better the sales will do regardless. And that's for anything that you have in your inventory. So here we are at another yard sale, and it's starting to get later, you know, in the day. This was probably like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. I honestly can't remember. And I come up to this yard sale. There was nothing out, but of course I'm going to ask if they had anything. And this is the lady that brought the games out, but there was another lady in the garage, and she kept hinting that this lady had a Nintendo that she never plays, a Game Boy that she never plays. And I absolutely love when there is a sidekick that is trying to help the other person get rid of stuff that they're not using, because it helps me out in order to get them to bring this stuff out, because as you know, if they bring this stuff out, most likely you're going to be able to walk away with it. Now, she doesn't bring out the most insane titles here, but she brought out some things that I didn't have. One of them being Boomer's Adventure for the original Game Boy. It's not a high-end game, but it's something that I like to collect for, and it was a game that I didn't have. And also, you'll see here that she's letting me go through the games, picking out what I want. I kind of regret not picking up those cases. She probably would have just gave me those cases for free. They were Nintendo brand. Those things sell really well. But I pick up Double Dragon, Castlevania's Adventure, Boomer's Adventure, and then there was a copy of Tetris, as well as this copy of Double Dragon 2 for the NES. I asked her how much she wanted, and she came back with $10. There's no need to haggle on that. That price was great. My wife wanted to pick up a couple My Little Pony plushies for someone, so we got everything all together. I think it was like $13. That was a great deal right there. I couldn't argue that at all, and to pick this up so late in the day just put a smile on my face. Because I'd say usually after 10 o'clock, I mean, your chances of finding a good score just diminishes by like 80%. I mean, obviously stuff can still be found late in the day, but your chances of finding anything just go down dramatically. And I want to say it was probably like 10, 11 o'clock whenever I found this stuff. I felt like the only person yard selling on Saturday, because every place that I would go, I might start off with saying, you may have already been asked, but you happen to have any video games? And they said, we haven't been asked at all. And I went to quite a few yard sales and didn't hear that one time that someone else was there before me. So it was a good day to be out. The weather wasn't too hot, and me and my wife just had a good time riding around, getting some good pickups. So here we are at another yard sale later on in the day, and like I told you before, guys, I swear I felt like the only person out there hunting this day, because every place I would go, I was the only person that asked if they had games, or I would come across something awesome like this Pac-Man Coleco tabletop arcade right here. I actually already had one of these things, but this thing was in far better shape. It was very nice, very minty, except it had one problem that you're going to see here. So I asked this guy how much he wanted for this, and he said $20, which would still be a really good deal had it not had the issue you're going to see here, because like I said, these things can sell for well over $100. But, and I can't stress this enough to you guys, anytime you come across anything that takes batteries, a Game Boy, electronic of any kind, always, and I mean always, check the battery compartment. Not only for corrosion, but for rust as well, because that's what you're going to see the problem is with this unit as I open it up. Now, battery corrosion typically isn't the worst thing that could happen to a battery compartment. It can cause a lot of damage, but usually a lot of the times you can clean it up and get the unit to work, you know, most of the time. And it kind of irks me when I see a lot of other hunters and they say, oh, this thing's got battery corrosion, it most likely ain't going to work. Stop being a dick to people. You know, most likely you can get that thing to work if you know what you're doing. But as I opened this thing up and I saw the amount of rust that it had, that's when my hopes for the unit kind of, you know, fell to the floor. But like I said, since I had a unit already, not in as cosmetically beautiful of a shape that this unit was in, I can Frankenstein two together and make one very nice unit. So he was at $20, and I told him, I was like, man, with this amount of rust damage, I'm going to end up taking mine apart and making one solid unit. I'll give you $5. He was happy about that. He didn't realize there was that much damage to the bottom. So for $5, it was a good deal. Alright guys, so here we are with my favorite pickup of the week, and you're going to see why. This was like at 11:30, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and to come across a nice little storage container full of NES games just randomly in the middle of all this yard sale stuff that you see here, just out and about on the side of a street, people pass by all the, I mean, I don't understand this. Like I said, I had to have been the only person hunting this week, because this stuff would not have been here, especially in the neighborhood that I was at. This is a highly hunted area, and I just happened to be heading that way on my way back home and saw this sign, and I was like, you know what, we might as well stop and check it out. And my God, am I glad I did, because not only do I find these games here, you're going to see another amazing score I pick up. Now, there was a few nice titles in the NES games. There was, a copy of Zelda, Kung Fu, a bunch of common stuff. I got all of them really cheap. But this box right here, that just so happened to be right beside the NES games, I don't know how to, I mean, this was fate right here, guys. I don't normally show you guys a lot of stuff that I pick up for resale. I just show you video game related stuff. But this, I had to show you this. This was such a phenomenal pickup right here. For a lot of people out there, who don't know, I live in Asheville. Asheville tries to put themselves on the map when it comes to brewing beer. A lot of people come down here for tourism just to see a lot of the breweries. And as you can see, this entire box was filled with nothing but beer taps. Majority of them being local beer, beer breweries around here. And I asked him, I said, hey man, how much do you want for these games right here? He said $20. I was like, well, that's a good deal. It had 2 controllers. And then I asked him, how much do you want for these beer taps? And he said $2 a piece. That would have been amazing. Oh, you know what? Surprising. I'm sitting here doing this narration. That one you just saw him picked up, that you saw him pick up, I actually already sold that one for $55, man. I had no idea the worth of these beer taps, the potential of them. But I picked everything you see up here. I picked up the games, I picked up the beer taps, and I offered him $40 for everything. He took it. It was somewhat of a risk on those beer taps. I've never sold them before, but they just look too unique not to pick them up. And as I've been listing them, guys, it's well over $1,000 worth of beer taps right there. There is collectible, aspects when it comes to them. I mean, it surprised me. People want them for their man caves or for their bars, but people collect them just like we collect video games. So that's the market of them. And to be where I am and able to pick those up, I even asked the guy, I said, hey man, how does one come across this many damn beer taps? He's like, well, I used to be a bartender. That's when it made the most perfect sense, obviously. But for $40 for this pickup right here, guys, these things may sit in my inventory for quite some time, but me already selling one, I mean, it's... Oh, God, it still leaves me in awe as I watch this footage now. But anyways, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. If you did, hit that thumbs up and let me know what you guys have found out there, guys. As always, take care and enjoy the rest of your day.